Okay, let's talk about it. That one conversation with a partner that can be super nerve-wracking. The one about sexual health. You know, it can feel really awkward, but honestly, getting it right can make all the difference. And that's what we're going to walk through today.
All right, first things first, let's tackle a huge, and I mean huge, misconception. When you think about a sexually transmitted infection, or an STI, you might picture some kind of obvious symptom. You'd think you could just tell if someone had one, right?
Well, the reality is, you absolutely can't. The CDC is really clear on this. A lot of STIs are asymptomatic. That means they show zero symptoms. A person can have an infection, be contagious, and have no idea, which, as you can imagine, is exactly why they spread so easily.
And that brings us to our first really crucial point. This whole silent nature of these infections and why getting tested is literally the only way to be sure about your health and your partner's.
And if you want to understand the scale of this silent spread, just look at this number. Back in 2018, the CDC found that nearly half of all new STIs were among young people, folks between 15 and 24 years old. This is an issue that affects millions.
So, this is why we have got to separate the myths from the facts. The idea that you'd just know, myth. The idea that only certain types of people get STIs, big myth. Or even thinking that your birth control protects you from infections, nope, that's a myth too. The only thing that truly matters here is the fact that testing is the only way you can actually know for sure.
Now, this leads us to our second point, which is kind of a reality check for people in relationships. See, it's really easy to think that once you're with just one person, the risk of STIs just kind of vanishes. But that can be a really dangerous false sense of security.
And this is a question so many people have, right? Once you're settled down with one partner, can you just stop worrying about testing? You might think, hey, we're in the clear. But the answer is, well, it's a bit more complicated.
And this quote from Dr. Nazar Rauf, an infectious disease expert, explains exactly why it's not so simple. He points out that an infection could have been picked up years, literally years, before the current relationship, just lying dormant without anyone having a clue.
So getting tested when you're in a relationship isn't about distrust. It's actually the opposite. It's about mutual care. It's about making sure you both have a clean bill of health so you can move forward together. It's just a way of looking out for each other.
Okay, so we're all on board. We know testing is important, but how do you actually bring it up, without making things super awkward or starting a fight? Let's walk through some really practical steps.
The Women's Clinic of Atlanta suggests this really simple 3-step approach to get ready for the conversation. First, just think about the relationship itself. Then, get your facts straight so you feel confident. And finally, and this is key, pick a time and place that feels private, respectful, and calm.
And if you're not sure what to say, My Health Finder has some fantastic starting points that frame this as a team effort. You'll notice how all of these are about we and us. It's not an accusation, it's a collaboration.
But let's be real for a second. What happens if the conversation doesn't go smoothly? It's a totally valid concern. Your partner might get angry, or they might feel like you're accusing them of something. The key here is to de-escalate. Instead of arguing, the Crisis Prevention Institute suggests acknowledging their feelings. Just saying something like, "It seems like this is upsetting you," can really help lower their defenses and show them you're trying to understand where they're coming from.
At the end of the day, their reaction tells you a lot. This conversation is just as much about trust and respect as it is about health. A partner who flat out refuses to even discuss getting tested, well, that could be a serious red flag about how much they value your well-being.
Now let's say someone does test positive. There's actually a really innovative public health solution out there that's designed to make treatment for both partners way more effective.
It's called expedited partner therapy, or EPT. The whole idea is to stop that cycle of reinfection for common bacterial STIs like chlamydia and gonorrhea. It makes sure the partner gets treated fast, even if they can't or won't go to the doctor themselves. It's pretty brilliant, actually.
And you can see the progress right here on this map. In 2006, those green areas show that EPT was only allowed in 10 states. But look at 2015. It expanded to 37 states. That is a huge leap forward for public health. So yeah, this isn't just some new idea. It's a proven, effective public health tool that the CDC has recommended since 2006. It recognizes the reality of the situation and provides a super practical solution to break that chain of transmission. So what's the bottom line here? What does this all come down to? It's really about empowering yourself to have one, potentially tough, but absolutely vital conversation.
I think this quote really says it all. These conversations, even if they're difficult, are an act of profound care and respect. You're not just protecting your own health, you're showing your partner that you care about theirs too. And please remember this, an STI is a health issue, not a moral judgment. The stigma is often so much worse than the infection itself. And as the CDC says, all STIs are treatable, and the vast majority are completely curable. The sooner you know, the sooner you can get treatment and just move on.
This is all about taking control of your well-being. So the question I want to leave you with is this: what's one conversation you can start, big or small, that puts your health first?